You've been living in a dream world, Neo. This is the world as it exists today.
Welcome to the desert of the real.
Okay, 1, 2. Welcome everybody to a stream about water and plasma. I would like to show you some videos and documentaries I have come about, and let's start with a biblical Earth model. Right. I will try to present it. Present. I think I need to go to the Chrome tab. This is the first. This is just a video. I think Disney are symbolic presentation of the plasma changing the buildings to stone. Look at it. Here comes the plasma and it goes to water.
Here's the metallic castle.
Oh, she makes a comment.
Blue plasma light hits it, and it is petrified.
Petrified.
We didn't need
The blue plasma.
We just needed electricity. That wasn't snakes on her head. That was electrical circuits. I wonder if they show this in any other Disney movies. You know that red bricks furnace electricity? We'll save that for another video.
Yeah, that's a short video. Now, I have to always present the tab separately because of the audio. Share screen. So now I will go to Facebook. This is the same. So, and here I have a short video which demonstrates the biblical Earth model. This is the video. And I want to go to full screen. There is a sound, I think. It's a 1-minute video. So in this video, in this model, this is a biblical Earth model. This is a flat plane where we are on a disk. And this is a firmament, a dome above us, and we are submerged in water. So this is waters in deep, and this is waters above. It's like in the Bible, or maybe also in other models I'm not familiar with. But in the case of crack in a firmament, paradoxically, the water would not pour down, but it will rise from bottom up, as this demonstration shows.
I'm just to prove that that's come around now. We go, and we'll take the top out. And here's the flood. It doesn't come through the top at all. It comes through the bottom. There you go. of course, I could have stopped the flood anytime. I could have stopped the flood there. There. Or, you know, just good, wasn't it? And then bring it back.
And the water recedes back when the crack is sealed.
There we go, that dry land again now.
Yeah, so this was another short video. And here, the last short video from Facebook. It shows plasma lightnings from water. It's a very short video. Look, it's the demonstration. I think there is a coil beneath the glass, and you can see the sparks of plasma coming out of, or even through the glass, coming out of water. The violet blue colored plasma. It's not destructive, but it's just a demonstration that there is a plasma in water. Yeah, it's looping. Okay, that's it. Okay. Another thing I want to show you. It is the electric sun video. I have to find it. Wait a moment. Oh, this is it. So we will watch it together. So this is 14 minutes. I will play the whole video. I hope it will have a sound. I will take myself off the screen. Okay. Play it full screen. Let's play it. I think I have the subtitles also on.
Eric Dillard is the only known man who can accurately reproduce many of Tesla's experiments with radiant energy and wireless energy transmission. He is able to do so because he understands that conventional electrical theory only includes half the story. Nikola Tesla gave us the technology that has created our entire electrical grid and communication systems.
Helen Hadsell was able to win any competition she took part in. She was known as the contest queen because she had won.
Tesla aspired to create a system that would light up the entire world without wires. In the end, a combination of his own ruin with the agenda of the wealthy elite brought about his downfall and banishment. Undaunted by this, Eric set out to recreate all of Tesla's technology and design a self-powered system, faster than light and lossless communication. Eric managed to rediscover Tesla's core job, but had to live in the desert. He did more than 4 years of research on the sun at Sonoma State University before his lab was taken away. His research on the sun led him to conclude the following. The sun has no internal structure, it is empty. The sun is just a surface, there is nothing inside. The sun is not burning anything, there is no fusion. The sun is a transformer. It is an energy converter from another dimension, with light and heat being residual processes. During more than 30 years of electrical research and experiments, Dillard destroyed 8 laboratories mysteriously burned. He also conducted countless experiments proving that the sun is not a fiery ball in this space. The electrical engineer affirms that the sun is approximately 6,000 kilometers from Earth and not 150 million kilometers, as it is officially said. Light cannot travel in the vacuum of space, so rather the sun is inside the ionosphere, Dillard says. The heliocentric model tells us that the sun is a star at the center of a planetary system, a star made up of hydrogen and helium that has traces of other elements. NASA images depict the sun as a fireball burning in space in a supposed process of nuclear fusion or hydrogen that turns into helium. However, current science only works with hypothetical theories and false conjectures to define the sun. The scientific description of the sun itself is contradictory. The possibility that the sun produces oxygen in its surface composition is totally unlikely. The sun would be composed of nickel, chromium, magnesium and iron, and these elements would be responsible for the true magnetic force of the sun. The temperature of the sun, according to official data, is 5,778 degrees K or 5,505 degrees Celsius. There is no way to produce a magnetic field with the elements nickel, chromium, iron and magnesium at high temperatures. Hydrogen and helium also do not produce magnetism. Nickel, iron, chromium and magnesium lose their magnetic properties when subjected to less than 1,000 degrees Celsius. Therefore, the sun, as defined in the books, would never produce a magnetic field that could attract other bodies in space. In this way, no planet would orbit the sun or be attracted to its magnetic force. The force of gravity is the same force that attracts dust to a television screen, that is, it does not exert any force of magnitude. In order for the sun to have nuclear fusion on the surface and could cause combustion, it would need oxygen. Oxygen is produced in two ways, by photosynthesis and photolysis. This could not happen on the surface of the sun. There will be fire when combustion occurs, and for this to occur there must be a combination. Following elements: fuel, ignition, temperature and oxygen in atmospheric air. The combination of these elements in suitable proportions will produce a process of release of heat and light energy. There is also no oxygen in the supposed space that can contribute to the combustion of the sun. Only electricity explains the magnetic force and the existence of the sun. According to Eric Dillard, the sun is not bigger than Earth, nor is it 150 million kilometers away. The sun would be slightly larger than the moon. It would be approximately 5,000 to 6,000 kilometers in diameter. And he believes that the sun is between 5,000 and 6,000 kilometers from Earth. Dillard claims that magnetic induction produces light, heat, energy, electromagnetic frequencies, and radiation. That would be the best explanation to define the operation of the sun within the system. The sun has a strong electromagnetic field that captures energy frequencies from Earth and electrical space. This uptake is defined in a continuous process of magnetic induction. Simply put, the sun captures energy from Earth and other dimensions in space and converts it into light, frequencies, radiation, and heat. Its buoyancy and confinement within the system are due to the strong magnetic field of the Earth and electromagnetism in the dome. Therefore, the magnetic field of the Earth is much larger and more intense than the magnetic field of the sun and the moon. The sky is loaded with electrical particles and filaments that produce electromagnetic fields. The sun picks up all this electrical and frequency charge that comes from the Earth, the sky, and the dome. To maintain the balance of this system, the sun acts as a gigantic transformer that converts all this captured energy into light, frequencies, heat and radiation. Therefore, the sun and also the moon provide an extraordinary harmony that maintains everything. Without the moon there would be no life on Earth. Electromagnetic waves radiate high and low frequencies. The sun would be the result of a vibratory frequency radiated from the Earth. Nikola Tesla believed that there was a specific frequency with which the Earth is struck like with a hammer. Tesla believed that the surface of the Earth vibrated with the frequency of electricity that was generated from electromagnetic processes, the Earth being a large Tesla coil. This frequency is very intense in Antarctica, where sono-luminescence phenomena occur daily. Antarctica would be the negative pole of the Earth's battery, where all the extra energy is released. The sun would be the result of this oscillating energy at very high frequencies.
I need to find the best way to learn math and science.
It's brilliant.org.
Whoa.
Brilliant has thousands.
The ball lightning
Sorry
phenomenon
for
was
that,
introduced in the laboratory by
guys.
Nikola Tesla in 1902. Other scientists have tried to reproduce this electrical phenomenon without success. This electrical phenomenon is observed after large electrical storms, where too much energy is released into the air or atmosphere. A ball of lightning floats in space and mysteriously disappears while losing frequency. This phenomenon may be related to the existence of our electric sun that shines in the sky. Gases and electrical energy make up plasma. The Tesla ball uses the same base to function and release beams of energy within it. The combination of gases and electrical energy or plasma is the same that explains the constitution of the electric sun. The sun transforms electrical energy into electromagnetic waves. Electromagnetic waves produce frequencies that make molecules, particles, and other substances vibrate intensely. This vibration produces heat. With this premise, we can say that the sun has a cold surface, because the heat will radiate from the electromagnetic frequencies. By generating very high frequencies, the sun causes molecules, particles, and other substances in the atmosphere to vibrate, and thus heat is radiated to Earth. This is how a microwave oven works. Electrical engineering Dr. Don Scott, along with Michael Claridge PhD in electrical engineering and physics, led the Safire Project that studies the electrical sun. Both claim that the sun is not a ball of hydrogen fused in space and that heat is not released by the sun, but is generated by electromagnetic waves that hit the mesosphere, the stratosphere, and finally the troposphere. The engineer and satellite telecommunications expert Jose Alfonso Hernando Abajon, it also states that the sun is cold and that heat is generated by electromagnetic waves that vibrate in the atmosphere. One proof that the sun is cold and does not radiate heat is that the closer we get into the atmosphere and we get closer to the sun, the colder it gets. Airplanes at 10,000 feet register temperatures of -5 degrees Celsius outside. If the sun were hot, the water would not freeze at a height of 30 kilometers. Experiments with weather balloons show the transported water containers at high altitudes. They return to Earth completely frozen. Above 10,000 feet, the temperature drops drastically, so if the sun radiated heat, we would grill inside airplanes. The sky is cold like the sun. The sun is a great source of energy and its surface is not as hot as official science indicates. The electromagnetic waves that produce light, heat and radiation are generated from an electrical source and continuous electrical processes. Electricity is the only source that could define the entire existence of the sun and the universe. The visible spectrum, or simply visible light, is only a small part of the entire spectrum of possible electromagnetic radiation, ranging from radio waves to gamma rays. Sunspots are electromagnetic vortices in their natural flow of energy. The sun has a powerful electromagnetic force that works interactively with the dome Earth sky system. The heat produced by the electromagnetic waves of the sun heats the water of the sea and rivers, heats and expands the air, produces breezes, winds and hurricanes. Its heat evaporates the water. The vapor, which is lighter, concentrates in the atmosphere, forming the clouds that float in the skies. Therefore, the sun plays a fundamental role in the climatic effects of the Earth and systematically influences the cycles of rain, winds and storms. The sun causes magnetic paths or fluxes as it travels on Earth, where hurricanes, tidal waves and earthquakes originate. This is because water is naturally diamagnetic, that is, water repels a magnetic field when faced with this force. This water repellent effect explains the tides in Earth's oceans. The sun implies a positive electromagnetic energy that causes low tide and the moon implies a negative electromagnetic energy that causes high tide. Sea salt increases the ability of water to produce electricity. The sun's interaction with seawater acts as a great power plant. About 71% of the Earth's surface is made up of water. Therefore, the electromagnetic properties of the sun and the moon act like two giant magnets, altering their water level up to 17 meters above the sea surface. The sun also has a great influence on the tectonic layers of the Earth, causing earthquakes. All areas of earthquakes are concentrated on the magnetic stripes or the paths of the sun. The sun is a large electrical transformer or converter that interacts with the entire system. Eric Delaar and Nikola Tesla were persecuted because they knew too much. They both destroyed their laboratories and set them on fire. Delaar was threatened, just as Tesla was sabotaged to the end of his life. The sun is part of the perfect electrical circuit that keeps this entire system running. What do you think about this topic?
Here's the big secret about women.
I'll stop these ads. Okay, so this was the documentary about the sun, local sun. And in the beginning, we have seen a model of the flat Earth with a dome. And what I was thinking, because generally in meltology community, it is thought that the plasma came first, and then came the water, you know, the flood. But what if it is one and the same? What if the plasma came from water? That's my just question that I'm asking. Because as we've seen in this model of the flat Earth, the water was rising from the below up. And that's what we see in meltology, that the heat was coming from the bottom up. Okay, Curtis. And so this is the same when the water rises and what we see in the meltology. And also water is a very good source of energy. And we can see that plasma can be generated from water. So I don't know how or if is it possible. It's just for your consideration. And I will show you more videos about plasma in water. And this first is Sono-luminescence. And this is also a short documentary, and it shows how we can create plasma from water by sound. I will play the video. One moment. I want to present, share screen, Sono-luminescence, share. It's a short video, a very nice number. You see the Illuminati number, but whatever. Let's see.
It's a process called sono-luminescence.
The first time I saw sono-luminescence was in a darkened room. I was transfixed to look at this spherical flask of fluid. And you look into the center, and in the center see a glowing blue-purple light, which could be seen with the unaided eye. It looked like a star in the heavens.
Seth Putterman called it the star in a jar, a tiny spot of bright light contained in a flask of liquid. This star in a jar is made when a sound wave is passed through a small bubble inside a flask of liquid. And this sound wave makes the bubble do something remarkable. First it expands, then it collapses. And this collapse happens so violently that vapor molecules trapped inside the bubble slam together and heat up so much that the bubble gives off an incredible burst of heat and light, several thousand times a second, giving the appearance of a star. What made the phenomenon so exciting was the temperature of this star in a jar. On its surface alone, the light burns at tens of thousands of degrees. And Seth Putterman now contemplated a tantalizing possibility. Could the core of the collapsing bubble be even hotter? Hot enough for fusion?
One of the mysteries of sono-luminescence is to determine exactly how hot the interior of the bubble gets. In the sun, the interior can be millions of degrees, hot enough to cause fusion. And the thought crossed my mind that perhaps inside the collapsing bubble, the interior of the bubble might also get hot enough to cause fusion.
If so, this would be something truly amazing. By simply bombarding tiny bubbles with sound waves, temperatures of over 10 million degrees would be created. And nuclear fusion, the same reaction that powers the sun, would be happening almost effortlessly here on Earth.
Let's take a short break. Okay, now I want to play short clips from a Safire project, and they recreated sun in laboratory plasma, and they have some interesting results with their experiments. For example, element transmutations and others. So I will present this shortly. How can I do it? No. Okay, this is a short history clip. 1 minute. It's called, I cannot find it. Which tab is it? I have so many tabs open. No. Oh, I think this is it. Share. Yes. Just 1 minute. I'll put it full screen.
Michael Faraday was 24 years old when he coined the phrase radiant matter to describe what he believed was the fourth state of matter. 60 years later, Sir William Crookes was one of the first to truly experiment with this fourth state of matter. He placed rubies in a vacuum tube filled with a rarefied gas. There was an anode at one end, a cathode at the other. He introduced sufficient voltage to ignite the radiant matter. The rubies started glowing red. Crookes talked about radiant matter and phosphorescence. The radiant matter is now called plasma.
I read Crookes' work and studied the photographs and work of Christian Birkeland, created between 1896 and 1913. In his Torella experiments, Birkeland used an electrified globe in a vacuum chamber. The images he produced are remarkably
does not
similar
like this idea.
to modern photographs of the sun. Robert Quinn and Ralph Fiorito produced similar images in 1967 while attempting to generate plasma stability. The Electric Universe people had already seen a similarity between Birkeland's Torella and the interaction between the Earth and the Sun. I suspect the underlying process is charged plasma affecting matter of a different electrical potential. I'm wondering if it might...
Okay. So, now. This was from history. Stop the screen. And now I will show you Safire Project. Wait, this video. The presentation. Why is it so small? Oh.
What if the process used to create the sapphire sun turns out to be similar to the process that creates the real sun and stars? The scientific community would have a field day with door opening. That would be the big picture. In all our experiments and discoveries, we have found no disparities with the electric sun model. All the evidence to date points to electricity as the primal force in nature. We believe the Safire Project validates and supports the electric sun model. Safire's new mandate is to create beneficial and commercially viable transformative technologies for humanity.
Okay. And here is the experiment. Wait for it. Okay. Let's play it. Okay, it's 3 minutes. I'm sorry, I'm playing it in wrong order. One moment. It's here. This is the experiment. Let's play it again. There is no sound. Why not? I hear the sound. Sorry. So I will play it again. I will try to share again. Thanks for telling me that there is no sound. I try again. Also share this. I have this checked. Also share the sound. So I don't know why does the sound not play. I try to share it again. I don't know what to do. What's this? Do you hear the sound now?
Our helium is coming up.
The sound of the video.
We're getting a lot of hydrocarbons in there.
We adjust pressure.
Tell me please in the chat if you hear the sound of the video.
Current
A little bit more.
and time.
And then we'll take another sample
Time
in
is
a minute.
also a key element.
You want to shut it
When the
off,
proper combination of these factors is arrived at, the
I don't
plasma
know. I will
sponge
play it from the beginning. Hopefully the sound is all right now.
everything is plugged in. Step 1 is to create a basic plasma glow
Thanks,
discharge
Curtis.
that can be measured.
Thanks.
When we fire up the chamber for the first time, we really have no idea what is going to happen.
Water's going down. That's good. Water's going down. And our helium is coming up, which is 4. We're getting a lot of hydrocarbons in there.
We adjust pressure, voltage,
So I'm going to introduce a little more helium right now.
Current.
Push it a little bit more.
and time. then we'll take another sample.
Time is also a key element.
You want to shut it
When the
off,
proper combination of these factors is arrived at, the plasma spontaneously ignites.
There we go. 0.4 is going down. Let's shut it off. Pumps and argon is off.
A glow discharge forms in the chamber.
So we just leave it here. It'll start climbing by itself.
Yes.
Look at the emissions coming out. Look how bright it becomes.
We adjust the various parameters to obtain a variety of plasma regimes.
Look on the surface. See the glows?
What we're observing has no clear precedent. We are seeing things we did not expect.
Look at the pressure changes. Nice. Look at the spin. Look at the spin. Yeah, look at the spin. What we're starting to see right now is a new sphere starting to form around the anode. And
After many run-throughs, we were able to define a number of consistently reproducible phenomena. This is the anode glow discharge, the plasma glow discharge, coronal discharge region, and the low-density ionization region.
We have argon pressure. They're not going to slow. Yeah, open up the argon.
At one stage, a uniform plasma sheath forms around the anode. Then tufts of high-energy plasma discharge appeared just off the surface of the anode. As we vary parameters, the plasma discharge changes. The tufts move, then start to spin around the anode. Spicules and hair-like discharges form in the transition region. A high concentration of ions collect just off the surface of the anode. As the concentration of ions intensifies, it reaches a critical density, then explodes out into the chamber. At no time do we see an arcing between the anode and the cathode during the discharge. To our surprise, we find that the cathode is not playing as much of a role as we thought it would.
Very intense glow. 2.5 amps. Yeah. Okay, it's starting to grow here, and here comes it. Look. Here it goes.
We think we are seeing a new phenomenon. We are calling it intense plasma flow discharge. Plasma double layers.
This is happening at 3 torr. We've never seen anything like this.
Here, we are looking through numerous rotating translucent plasma spheres. These intense plasma flow discharges come just before another phenomenon appears. Then we see intense plasma tufts in stable double-layer spherical striations. Notice the color and intensity differences of each plasma sphere. As the striations form and stabilize, the anode cools down.
Okay, that's it. And the last thing I want to show you is called primer fusion. And this is from a scientist who was experimenting with magnetic fields and created the bowl-shaped magnets and created some technologies using these which utilize plasma. So I will play you the video Primer Fusion Part 1. Okay, it's a 6-minute video. Audio is also shared. Let's put it on full screen. My connection is slow.
This is unaltered video of the hydrogen boron plasma in an experimental fusion reactor. The fusion process produces no carbon emissions, and the electricity produced will cost far less than other methods of generating electricity. Therefore, fusion will not require government intervention to force people to reduce their carbon emissions. Instead, the money people save on their power bills will be all the motivation they need.
I have to play it in lower resolution, but you can find the link.
The
in
critical
the
breakthrough that led to the fusion concept was the development of these simple bowl-shaped magnetic arrays. The United States Patent and Trademark Office granted a patent in 2014 that covers these magnetic arrays. Over the years, many experiments were conducted with these magnetic arrays to determine how they could be used to optimize fusion reactions. I have now designed and constructed several different fusion reactors that allow me to experiment with a wide range of conditions. Some of the critical parameters I experimented with were the shape of the magnetic poles, the spacing between the magnetic poles, the magnetic polarity of the poles, the magnetic flux density of the poles, the design and location of the electrodes in the magnetic poles, the vacuum levels in the reactor chamber, the gases used in the reactor chamber, the voltage, current, and polarity of the electricity flowing through the plasma. Here we see one of the experimental fusion reactors, the power supply, and the measurement module for the upper magnetic array. This image does not show the second power supply and measurement module that provides power to the lower magnetic array. Since I could not find commercially available high-voltage power supplies that met my specifications, I decided to design and build my own. These high-voltage power supplies allow me to adjust the voltage level, polarity, and frequency of the electricity flowing through the hydrogen boron plasma. You can find more information on these power supplies and their capabilities in my next video, Fusion 2. In Fusion 2, you will see how I utilize 3D printers to rapidly produce many of the parts needed for the fusion experiments. Fusion 2 will also provide a more detailed explanation of the methods used in the fusion experiments. Boron is inexpensive, plentiful, and high in energy content. A tablespoon of boron fused with hydrogen will produce enough electricity to power the typical home for 1 year for less than $100. This diagram represents the fusion of a hydrogen proton and boron-11. This process is referred to as aneutronic fusion because relatively few neutrons are produced when these two elements undergo fusion. Here we see a representation of a hydrogen proton and a nucleus of boron-11. When the hydrogen proton and the boron-11 nucleus fuse, they form a highly excited and very unstable nucleus of carbon-12 that almost instantaneously splits into 3 highly charged helium-4 alpha particles that fly off at high velocities. These highly charged helium-4 alpha particles then collide with the collector to extract the charges, which are then run through a transformer to directly convert them to usable electricity without going through a heat conversion process, such as that used in the typical steam-based power plant. Here we see some micrographs of boron that melted due to the high temperatures in the fusion reactor. These high temperatures also distorted some of the components in the test reactor. This heat distortion is why the bowl-shaped magnetic arrays shown here are slightly misaligned. A significant redesign of a new fusion reactor that is currently under construction should solve the problems with overheating. This new fusion reactor will utilize a horizontal arrangement, high-temperature ceramics, and a mineral oil cooling system to keep the components below critical temperatures to prevent damage. Shown here is a block diagram of the fusion process. There are only 3 moving parts in the entire fusion process, and all of the components shown here can fit into an area the size of a typical home refrigerator. For more information on the Fusion process and our goals, visit our website at primerfusion.org.
Okay, I interrupted. He was only talking then about emissions and so on. But I will show you some pages and then I will end this stream. Wait for it. Now I will share the screen without sound. This is the screen. Okay, so this is their webpage, primerfusion.com. You can watch. I will suggest you to watch these videos, the primer fields, very interesting videos about plasma and magnetism and how he came up with these ball magnets and how they are very similar to what we see on the buildings, you know, the dome on the building. This is, if you look from the bottom to the dome, there's a painting even which looks like this, some angels, and he's talking about it in his videos. So visit this page and check it out. And the last thing I wanted to show you is my Pinterest board, where I collected some interesting technologies that utilize water for energy. So link is in the description. Check it out. These are only some snippets from articles. A lot of them are in Slovak, but usually there is a link. Even I think this company, most of companies, they destroy them very quickly, these energy companies, but you can find them in Internet Archive. You look for the link. And the last thing, which is a movie, a 30 years old movie. I see the fruit kids don't like it, but there are some interesting technologies. Maybe check it out. This is on my page, and it's called Fiusion. Maybe it's not a fusion, but there are some real technologies that can create heat from water in this documentary. So it's in English, and I have created Slovak subtitles for it, also for Slovak viewers. It's available only on my page, which is linked in the description. So, and that's all. That's all, folks. Thank you. Oh, Fruitkid wrote something. Maybe water is already plasma in flux, and we think that it is water, and the air is just the plasma discharge of the water. Interesting thought to think about. Thank you, guys. Thank you for coming and for your comments and for your support. Like, share, subscribe, and all those good things. And see you next time.
You've been living in a dream world, Neo. You've been